Hey, it's Average down here with another Chill Corner video. Now just updating y'all on all the stuff that's going on in my life and all the stuff that I want to update y'all on and all that. Mostly pop culture stuff like shows, movies, all that stuff. This is my phone and my script that I have everything on it, so let's go. The first thing is comics that I've read, and I'll be honest, I've read none today. But maybe starting tomorrow, I'm going to start picking back up on reading more comics. I've ordered them. I have new ones in a pile on my bed, like all new Firefly and stuff that I want to dig into, so there's that. And I have ordered some new ones, like I ordered 2 today. Cyberpunk 2077 Blackout #1 by Dark Horse, and then Shadow War Omega #1 by DC. Now today is special when it comes to movies and shows, because of course for a lot of these streaming services, day one is like a huge movie dump. It is. So this is what's coming out between this Wednesday, the 1st, and next Wednesday. It's like the 7th or whatever. So, what's going on? What's going to come in that I'm interested in? Let's start with the movies. Of course, Disney Plus does not have anything. Big sad. In the way of movies, anyway. On HBO movies, you do have 300, which made 2006, was directed by Zack Snyder and starring Gerard Butler, Lena Headey, and David Wenham. I should have done this before, but I'll say this now. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of your names. There's going to be a lot of them, so I'm just getting this off the bat right now. I apologize. And let's get back into it. We have A Star is Born, the one made in 2018 that was directed by Bradley Cooper, stars Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, and Sam Elliott. Then we have Abduction, which was made in 2011, was directed by John Singleton, and stars Taylor Lautner, Lily Collins, and Alfred Molina. And Cross the Universe, which was made in 2007, is directed by Julie Taymor, starring Rachel Wood, Jim Sturgis, and Joe Anderson. Again, this is HBO Max. Angels and Demons was made in 2009 by Ron Howard and stars Tom Hanks, Ewan McGregor, and Alet Zuer. And then we got B-Movie, made in 2007, was directed by Simon J. Smith and Steve Hickner, and stars Jerry Seinfeld, Renee Zellweger, and Matthew Broderick. I got Chef, that was made in 2014, directed by Jon Favreau, and stars Jon Favreau, Robert Downey Jr., and Scarlett Johansson. I got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which was made in 2000, that was directed by Ang Lee and stars Chow Yun-fat, Michelle Yeoh, and Ziyi Yang. Then I got Daybreakers, which was made in 2009, directed by Michael Spierig, starring Michael and Peter Spierig, and starring Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, and Sam Neill. And we got First Blood, made in 1982, directed by Ted Kotcheff, and starring Sylvester Stallone, Brian Dennehy, and Richard Grenna. Then we got Gridiron Gang, which was made in 2006, is directed by Phil Jono, stars Dwayne Johnson, Exhibit, and L. Scott Caldwell. We got I Know What You Did Last Summer, made in 1997. It was directed by Jim Gilswai and starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Annie Hatchey. And we got I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, made in 1998. It was directed by Daddy Cannon, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Brandy Norwood. And then we got I Always Know What You Did Last Summer, made in 2006, directed by Sylvian White and starring Brooke Nevin, David Petkow, and Tori DeVito. Then we got Predator, made in 1987. It was directed by John McTiernan, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and Kevin Peter Hall. And then we got Rambo 3, directed by Peter McDonald and starring Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna, and Mark DeJonge. We got Rambo First Blood Part 2, made in 1985. It was directed by George P. Cosmatos and starring Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna, and Charles Napier. Then we got The Da Vinci Code, which was made in 2006, directed by Ron Howard, starring Tom Hanks, Audrey Tautou, and Jean Reno. They got The Grand Budapest Hotel, which was made in 2014. It was directed by Wes Anderson, stars Ralph Fiennes, Tony Revolori, and F. Murray Abraham. And we got The Mask, it was made in 1994. It was directed by Chuck Russell and stars Jim Carrey, Cameron Diaz, and Peter Riegert. You have Total Recall, which was made in 1990. It was directed by Paul Verhoeven and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sharon Stone, and Michael Ironside. Then we got Watchmen, made in 2009. It was directed by Zack Snyder, starring Jackie Earl Haley, Patrick Wilson, and Carly Gugino. Now it says HBO Max. Still got a lot more to do. Alright, now let's go to Hulu. They have 30 minutes or less. I didn't look up when it was made and all that stuff for these ones. Don't worry, I have it all good and worked out next month. Yeah, 30 minutes or less. It's directed by Ruben Fleischer and starring Jesse Eisenberg, Danny McBride, and Nick Swartzen. 50 First Dates, which was directed by Peter Segal, starring Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore, and Rob Schneider. A Good Day to Die Hard. I did start adding the dates for these ones. A Good Day to Die Hard was made in 2013, directed by John Moore and starring Bruce Willis, Jai Courtney, and Sebastian Koch. Alien was made in 1979, directed by Ridley Scott. Stars Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, and John Hurt. We got Aliens, made in 1986. It was directed by James Cameron and stars Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, and Carrie Henn. Then we got Alien 3, made in 1982. It was directed by David Fincher, stars Sigourney Weaver, Charles S. Dutton, and Charles Dance. We have Alien Resurrection, which was made in 1997. It was directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, and it stars Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder, and Dominique Peenan. We have Alien vs. Predator, made in 2004. It was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, and stars Sana Latan, Lance Henriksen, and Rio Boba. We have Alien vs. Predator Requiem, made in 2007. It was directed by Colin Greg Strauss, and stars Rico Aylesworth, Stephen Pasquale, and Sharika Epps. Bridesmaids, which was made in 2011, is directed by Paul Reed and stars Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, and Rose Byrne. We got Born After Reading, which was made in 2008, it was directed by the Coen brothers. It stars Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and John Malkovich. Then we got Die Hard, which was made in 1988. It's directed by John McTiernan. It stars Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, and Bonnie Bedelia. Die Hard 2, which was made in 1990, is directed by Rennie Harlin and stars Bruce Willis, William Atherton, and Bonnie Bedelia. Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was made in 1995, is directed by John McTiernan and stars Bruce Willis, Jeremy Irons, and Samuel L. Jackson. You have Don John, which was made in 2013. It was directed by Joseph Gordon-Levitt and it stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Scarlett Johansson, and Julianne Moore. You have Live Free or Die Hard, which was made in 2007. It was directed by Lance Wiseman and stars Bruce Willis, Justin Long, and Timothy Olyphant. I'm sorry. Then we got Muppets from Space, made in 1999. It was directed by Tim Hill, and it stars Dave Goelz, Steve Whitmire, and Bill Barita. We got Napoleon Dynamite, which was made in 2004, directed by Jared Hess, and it stars John Heder, Efren Ramirez, and John Grease. And Pineapple Express, which was made in 2008, it was directed by David Gordon Green, and starring Seth Rogen, James Franco, and Gary Cole. And Predator, which was made in 1987, was directed by John McTiernan, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and Kevin Peter Hall. Then we have Predator 2, which was made in 1990. It was directed by Stephen Hawkins, starring Danny Glover, Gary Busey, and Kevin Peter Hall. We have Predators, which was directed by Nimrod Antal, and stars Adrian Brody, Lawrence Fishburne, and Topher Grace. Then we have Prometheus, which was made in 2012, and was directed by Ridley Scott, and starring Noomi Rapace, Logan Marshall Green, and Michael Fassbender. Reign Over Me, which was made in 2007, was directed by Mike Binder, and stars Adam Sandler, Don Cheadle, and Jada Pinkett Smith. Robots, which was made in 2005, was directed by Chris Wedge and Carlos Saldana, and stars Ewan McGregor, Halle Berry, and Mel Brooks. Slumdog Millionaire, which was directed by Danny Boyle and Loveleen Tandon, and it stars Dev Patel, Frida Pinto, and Sarbha Shukla. The Fifth Element, which was made in 1987, directed by Luc Besson, starring Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, and Chris Tucker. Nutty Professor, which was made in 1996, was directed by Tom Shadyac and starring Eddie Murphy, Jada Pinkett Smith, and James Corbin. Night Professor 2, The Clumps, was made in 2000. It was directed by Peter Segal, and stars Eddie Murphy, Janet Jackson, and Larry Miller. Weekend at Bernie's was made in 1989. It was directed by Ted Kotcheff. It stars Andrew McCarthy, Jonathan Silverman, and Catherine Mary Stewart. We're halfway there. Halfway. That was all for Hulu. And now we're on to Netflix. This is all the stuff that's releasing for Netflix. The first today, 1st of June. So today for Netflix, we have Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy, 2004, directed by Adam McKay, and starring Will Ferrell, Christina Applegate, and Steve Carell. Dumb and Dumber, which was made in 1994, it was directed by Peter and Bobby Farrelly, and starring Tim Curry, Jeff Daniels, and Lauren Holly. Eraser, which was made in 1996, directed by Chuck Russell, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Vanessa Williams, and James Caan. Mission Impossible, the first one made in 1996, directed by Brian De Palma, starring Tom Cruise, John Voight, and Emmanuel Burt. Mission Impossible 2, which was made in 2000, directed by John Woo and starring Tom Cruise, Dougray Scott, and Dwayne Newton. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, made in 2011, directed by Brad Bird and starring Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, and Simon Pegg. Mr. Bean's Holiday, which was made in 2007, was directed by Steve Windelag and starring Rowan Atkinson, William Dafoe, and Steve Pemberton. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation was made in 1989, directed by Jeremiah S. Checkick, and starring Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and Juliette Lewis. Amazing Spider-Man was made in 2012 and directed by Mark Webb, starring Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, and Reese Ifans. Titanic, which was made in 1997, was directed by James Cameron and starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and Billy Zane. And Troy, which was made in 2004, was directed by Wolfgang Peterson and stars Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, and Orlando Bloom. Vegas Vacation, which was made in 1997, it was directed by Stephen Kessler, stars Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and Randy Quaid. And We Are Marshall, made in 2006, was directed by McGee, and it stars Matthew McConaughey, Matthew Fox, and Anthony Mackie. And we got a Hustle, which is coming out on the 8th. So it's not coming out on the 1st, it's coming out on the 8th. The movie that's starring Adam Sandler, Ben Foster, and Robert Duvall. It's a new movie that's coming out. So that's great. Alright. We're almost done here. Yeah. Almost done. A few more movies to go. Just a few more. So now we got Peacock. It has 1917, which was made in 2019. It's directed by Sam Mendes. And it stars Dean Charles Chapman, George McKay, and Daniel Mays. We got Too Fast, Too Furious, which was made in 2003. It's directed by John Singleton. It stars Paul Walker, Tyrese Gibson, and Ava Mendes. We got 2012, which is directed by Roland Emmerich. It stars John Cusack, Zaydouie Newton, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. Along Came Polly, which was made in 2004. It was directed by John Hamburg and stars Ben Stiller, Jennifer Aniston, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Back to the Future, which was made in 1985. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Leah Thompson. Back to the Future 2, which was made in 1989. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis. Starred Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Leah Thompson. Back to the Future 3, which was made in 1990. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis. It stars Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Mary Steenburgen. And you got Battleship, which was made in 2012. It was directed by Peter Berg and stars Alexander Skarsgård, Brooklyn Decker, and Liam Neeson. You got Blues Brothers in 1980. It was directed by John Landis and starred John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and Cab Calloway. We got E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which came out in 1982. It was directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Henry Thomas, Drew Barrymore, and Peter Cody. Fast and Furious was made in 2009. It was directed by Justin Lin and stars Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and Michelle Rodriguez. Got Fast 5, which made in 2011. It was directed by Justin Lin and stars Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and Dwayne Johnson. And we got Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, which came out in 2008. It was directed by Guillermo del Toro, stars Ron Perlman, Selma Blair, and Doug Jones. Pitch Black, which came out in 2000. It was directed by David Twohy and stars Rada Michelle, Cole Hauser, and Vin Diesel. Safe House was directed by Daniel Espinosa in 2012. Stars Denzel Washington, Ryan Reynolds, and Robert Patrick. Now we got Speed, made in 1994. It's directed by Jean DeMont and stars Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, and Dennis Hopper. Now Spider-Man 1 was directed by Sam Raimi in 2002 and stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and Willem Dafoe. Got Spider-Man 2, which was made in 2004. It was directed by Sam Raimi and stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and Alfred Molina. Got Spider-Man 3, made in 2007. Again directed by Sam Raimi and stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and Topher Grace. Ted 2, which came out in 2015. It was directed by Seth MacFarlane, and it stars Mark Wahlberg, Seth MacFarlane, and Amanda Seyfried. And we got The Blind Side, which was made in 2009. It's directed by John Lee Hancock and starring Quentin Aaron, Sandra Bullock, and Tim McGraw. We got The Bourne Legacy, which came out in 2012. It was directed by Tony Gilroy, and it stars Jeremy Renner, Rachel Weisz, and Edward Norton. We got The Bourne Ultimatum, which came out in 2007. And it's directed by Paul Greengrass, stars Matt Damon, Edgar Ramirez, and Joan Allen. Then we got The Chronicles of Ridiculous, which made in 2004. It's directed by David Twohy and stars Vin Diesel, Judi Dench, and Colin Fiore. The Pursuit of Happiness, which came out in 2006, directed by Gabriel Bocino and stars Will Smith, Cindy Newton, and Jane Smith. And we got The Thing, which was made in 1982. It was directed by John Carpenter and it stars Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, and Keith David. Van Helsing, which was made in 2004. It's directed by Stephen Sommers, stars Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, and Richard Roxburgh. And that's all for Peacock. I think we got one more. Just one more. Like I said, we're getting there, and this is the last one, I believe, because I didn't edit this part. Gladly, I didn't have most of the dates or most of the actors on here, so this part will be a little breeze. Like I said, next month I will be more prepared with this. Yeah, so from Prime Video coming out on the 1st of this month, coming out today. A big movie jump. Excuse me. Yeah, Black Swan, Dr. Dolittle, the 1998 version with Eddie Murphy. Fantastic Mr. Fox, Galaxy Quest, Groundhog Day, Half-Baked, Juno, Philadelphia, The Hills Have Eyes, the 2006 version, The Sandlot, The Wiz, Top Gun, Whip It, White Man Can't Jump, Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, and that's it. Well, Anchorman 2 comes out actually on the 5th. Also on a roll. But the movies and theaters that are coming out, got Unhuman coming out on the 2nd, and White Elephant coming out on the 3rd. Yeah, after all that, we have shows coming out, which should be much easier. Disney Plus does have shows coming out. They have Obi-Wan, which will come out. Another episode will come out today, so that makes it 3 episodes right now, because 2 episodes released last Friday, I believe. But you have an episode coming out today, and an episode coming out next Wednesday on the 8th. And also, next Wednesday, you have Miss Marvel coming out. That's a new show coming out. That's awesome. With Hulu, you have today Lego Masters Season 3 coming out. That's coming out today. And a couple days on the 6th, you'll have Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Hell. And then the day after, on the 7th, you'll have American Ninja Warrior. And then on Prime Video, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is The Boys Season 3. What up? I'm looking forward to it. And you can tell by all my energy I'm displaying in my voice. I am looking forward. And that's all that's coming out. We got movies and shows, plans they have, for movies. I watch them 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So today, so Monday I watched X1. I'm going through all the X-Men movies, and I'm making my way through all the Marvel stuff and whatever. So I watched X1 Monday, and it was great, fantastic introduction. Watching X2, and I watched a bit this morning, and fantastic. I don't know, X2 has the best introduction, in my opinion, of everything. Not my favorite X-Men movie, that one's still coming out, but a really good movie. So I watch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So today I just said I'm watching X2, and Friday watching X3. Then Monday I'm going to be watching X-Men Origins Wolverine. And then next week on Wednesday I'll be watching X-Men First Class. For shows, I watch them every Tuesday, Thursday. I'm planning on season 5 of Breaking Bad. So, and that's the last and final season. After I tackle that, I'm gonna go to Undone season 2 finally. Woohoo! And I'm gonna start watching Better Call Saul. I've never seen any of it. Love to see some of it. And that's so far it. I mean, the only random stuff I have today is that I'm playing Okami on the Xbox One. Planning on beating that as well. I've want to play it since it came out on the PS2. Never have. I don't know why. But tell me what you're looking forward to. Just tell me what you're into. Just, if you want to talk or anything. Whatever. You can just do it in the comments or do on my socials. I'm on Instagram at TRIPL3XXXMayhem. I'm on Twitter at RealAverageDon. I'm on Facebook at OfficialAverageDon. I'm on likewise at AverageDon, and I am on GoodReads at Johnny Nigh. And I have everything down below as well. So I don't have anything else to say. So I will see you all next time.